Well, I'll give you a tour of the studio, and then you can sort of see what we have
Good.
doing and who we're working with. So, yeah, come on up.
What a beautiful day.
It is beautiful.
Perfect weather.
Yeah, it's a good breeze and not so hot for a change.
Yeah.
Which is great when you're working with wool, not to have it too hot.
Right.
So, yeah. And the dogs are our greeters often, and our models.
Is that right?
A lot of times, yeah. Yeah. So we're actually across the street from where my parents began under Mountain Weavers about 40 years ago.
Wow.
So this is, actually Joe usually works on this loom. So this is a fly shuttle loom.
It's a what?
A fly shuttle loom.
Fly shuttle.
Which it was around 1730s is when the fly shuttle, the Industrial Revolution, began in Great Britain. And they lost a lot of the workforce because they only needed one person to operate one of these looms. So that's actually when a guy named Ned Ludd started talking about what are you going to do to make up for losing half the workforce here? And the employers said, don't please rebel against us and stop organizing and unionizing. And so that became, don't become one of those Luddites. That's where that came from. Anyway, so it's one of the first computers. If you come around the other side here, like the original card system. So it's like a music box, or there are a couple of pegs that determine which two of these, they're called harnesses, come up, and that helps determine the pattern in here. So half of it is in the setup, and then the other half is in the weaving. So this happens to be it's really noisy, so. This is actually Sam's wool from local Icelandic sheep in Cornwall. Sam Waterston has Icelandic sheep. And Mark Orth, who is a farm manager there, they give us the wool, or actually let us even work with the mill. And then we make blankets for they and for us to sell.
Good.
Yeah. So there's a one ready-made blanket over there, and then they have a couple of them too.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Actually, this is one of their Icelandic wool.
Haha. Very nice. Great. And these scarves are...
So these are chenille scarves, and then that's actually wool. And then we started making shawls a few years ago. So, yeah, and actually even about every couple of years we make a few ties.
Nice.
But they're not as big a thing as when my father was weaving. But yeah, at 90 my dad taught Joe, my husband, to weave. He was in his 50s, Dad was in his 90s.
Wow.
I stayed out of the way, and this loom is what they worked on. So I usually work on a smaller loom. I have two in the house, and I'll show you that when we're weaving. And this is what we use we teach classes once a year, maybe usually in the winter, for like 2 or 3 students at a time. We usually do that upstairs, and this is the loom that they usually work on. We have a few of those looms that my dad designed, and then a couple of local people have helped put together the woodwork. So, yeah.
So, your father taught your husband, and your husband taught you?
No, actually, I grew up with it, so it's genetic for me.
Oh, okay. Good.
So, yeah, we kind of learned it by osmosis, I think.
Yeah.
They had the weaving studio across the street. I've come a long way. And so we grew up doing little bits that here and there, and that's what got us to, yeah.
Good.
So, yeah.
Can you, I don't mind the noise.
I'll show you on my loom. It is more interesting, but Joe's in the middle of a pattern, so.
Oh, okay.
And he will be back in August, end of August.
He's riding his bicycle across America.
He is.
Amazing.
This has been his dream. So yeah, that's what he's. So I'll take you down to the house, where my two other looms are.
Okay.
And let me turn this off just a second. We'll come back to it. I could weave on that loom, but it's not very interesting.
Looks interesting.
Should I do it?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
If you don't mind.
No, not at all. Thank you. So, let's see. So, half the pattern is in the setup, as I was saying. And then the other half is in how you change. These are called harnesses. And in each harness, let's see, where am I? There are the heddles, which hold the threads, and so you have to thread, each thread goes through one of these in one of these harnesses, and that gives you the pattern. So I often have the pattern at the more noticeable at the beginning and the end of a scarf, like here, just because it's a contrast color or whatever. Yeah. I don't know how exciting it is to watch somebody do this, but
It's amazing. I love mechanics.
yeah, it is. It's actually, and it's kind of, it can be therapeutic too.
Uh-huh.
There can be a sort of zen to it. So it's not a fast-moving thing. Some are faster, depending on what you're doing. This is a plain weave, so I usually do something like that to have it shows, because I don't have to worry as much about counting and I can talk to people at the same time. Not chew gum, though. That kind of gives you the idea.
Yeah.
And so then we can move to the other loom. This is a table loom, and then in the house I have a couple of floor looms. Actually, I have a few floor looms.
Great.
But yeah, so we'll go see. I'll put that on.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. I assume you're going to cut a lot of my face, right? I hope.
I like your face. It's a very gentle face.
So, yeah, don't fall while you're doing that. So I have one loom upstairs that we're weaving for the Hillstead Museum in Farmington. Clatter Ridge Farm is what they are called, the farm that has their sheep on the Hillstead Museum. So we've done some scarves or shawls for them, and now a shop is interested maybe in having us do some pillow covers. So we're doing a sample. Don't fall. So we're doing a sample right now for them, which they'll come pick up on Monday. So the dogs are outside.
Okay. I like dogs.
Oh, okay, good. Lost the tag. actually, this is another card you should have. This is the joint venture between Sam Waterston's farm, Bird's Eye and Pannabrook Farm. And
Wow, what a beautiful house.
thank you.
It's splendid. Your dogs are great.
They're funny dogs we have, yes. Yeah. So this was family property that we moved back onto in 2013, I believe. So this is the loom. Sorry. Well, is the beeping going to be annoying? Oh.
No. No.
Okay. So I just actually got this loom from my friend Mary Arnold, who lives in Lakeville, in Salisbury actually now. And so this has different, these are called treadles.
Oops.
And this is going to potentially be a pillow cover. If the shop that they're trying to send this to likes it. So this is wool from the sheep in the Farmington, Connecticut area. The sheep are keeping us busy.
Yeah. That's nice.
Thank you. So this is the different, as I change these harnesses, that's part of, this is more, again, more of a plain weave. This goes a little faster because I can use my feet as well as my hands. Then I have a totally different color and doing bamboo downstairs if you wanted to see something different.
Yeah.
The colors are at least, they're a little bit more like up in the barn. Okay, so there you have it.
Good.
And as you can see, we won't be bored for a little while still. We have lots of options of things to weave. So yeah, so we'll go downstairs.
Okay.
I'm worried about you filming and not. This is how I set up the warp. So this is going to be the next one on the wheel. This is so it's a warping wheel. There's also a different kind of setup, a warping board, but I've kind of gotten used to doing it on here because I know it's about 2 yards around, and then I figure out what I'm going to do next. So this will probably be the beginning of another shawl.
How long does it usually take to make a shawl?
It's the setup is what takes a while.
The setup, yeah.
So it takes a couple days to set it up, get it ready and set it up, and then the weaving is a little bit faster, but it's hard to say exactly because it varies with what you're weaving, how fine the thread is, and yeah, that's a little bit. Chenille options, pattern options, and wool options.
Good.
So we have no excuse if we're bored.
Yeah.
Okay, so be careful though.
Okay. I better watch my step.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Besides, you don't even know this isn't working.
Uh-huh.
You built it. Yeah.
Wow, this is a beautiful room too.
And he convinced us to go up a little bit higher, which was well worth it. So in the winter we get the sun in here, because we do some of the weaving in here, and we're teaching classes in here. And then in the winter, in the summer there's no sun. It's nice and cool down here.
Yeah.
So this is some of the bamboo. Actually, what I'm doing here is actually like this. This is, it ends up being like this. That's a bamboo top that we made last year, I guess. So this one I watch more carefully. It's a little bit more detailed sometimes, so try and make sure I can see what I'm doing. So this is bamboo threads, so it's a little bit finer. It takes a little bit longer, but and I trying to see that there are no broken threads or threads woven wrong, since this will be clothing. And then if there's any left over, we often, on the warp, then sometimes I'll use it for napkins or placemats or towels. Sometimes we'll do a whole warp of just placemats and towels. So I have a couple looms like this, and
This must be very relaxing.
it is, unless you create a deadline.
Oh, yeah.
It is. It's nice. You can listen to music and you can listen to podcasts while you're doing it. But yes, there is something nice and zen-like about it.
Good.
And there's more thread in case we run out of thread. Not yet.
This is all bamboo thread?
So the top is bamboo and the two bottom ones are cotton. The cotton we do for mostly for placemats and napkins and towels. We do a lot of.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah,
Well, is that about covered?
I think it does. Yeah.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.